A lot of information out there suggesting Panic at the Disco, cats and dogs sleeping together. The sports card market is heading to zero. Well, not really. Is it time to panic, or is this just another correction in the market that we all just need to adapt to? Let's look at the information and see what this means in this first of a three-part series of DIY sports cards. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of DIY Sports Cards. This is a place where we take a deep dive into the buying and selling of sports cards for collectors and investors alike. I'm Ramon, the founder of this channel. How the hell are you? For me, week is over. Spent about 4 days during the week trying to recover from last week's from the long weekend from Memorial Day. Finally got there, now I'm ready for the next weekend. So I'm seeing a lot of information out there with regards to what is going on with sports cards pricing. There appears to be a big concern that we're heading into a recession, and a lot of people might be looking at trying to do a massive sell-off. I'm not so sure we're ready to call this a panic yet. Even though a recession may or may not be happening, this is just a different environment for collectors and investors to go out and buy and sell products and try to make some money. I think what's different now is the easy money is gone. You can't just go out and blindly buy a baseball bull prism rookie card and turn around and sell it for a 200% profit. Those days are gone. What you're looking at today is the era in which the sophisticated collector and investor will thrive. Like I said before, the easy money is gone. Coming up, I have set up a three-part series in which I want to look at specific cards that I have been following pretty religiously, just to understand what price trends are, if anything, and try to understand where pricing is and where it might go. One of the key strategies that I follow is to go with what I know. And in order to learn about cards, you really have to do a lot of due diligence. Understand the risks, understand where pricing has been, and between those two data points, if you can accept the risk and recognize that a buying option is now, and you think that the price might be going up in the long term, that's all you can assess at this point. So today we're going to look at the ultra-modern sports card market. We're going to look at basketball, and we're going to look at baseball. There's some trends here that I think you'll see that are very interesting. Let's dive into the numbers and see what we got. Okay, so we're going to use Card Ladder to evaluate evaluate these card prices. The reason why I like Card Ladder over Market Movers, there's really no reason. At this point, it's really one specific factor. Both provide great analytics. Both provide great insight. I think Market Movers does a little bit more with managing trends. But at the end of the day, for my purposes, Card Ladder is better because, quite frankly, it's cheaper. I think I pay like $20 a month for this as opposed to Market Movers where you're getting up to $45, $50 a month. I don't know the exact number lately, but as such, here we are. So we're going to look at a bunch of cards here. The first card we're looking at here is Ja Morant. This is a one-year trend of what Ja Morant's been doing. As you see here, the percent change is really 36.27%. But what's interesting about this is his cards have been really dropping since really the playoffs have started, since the middle of the season. If you focus in on this part right here, you see historically his cards have been selling between $200 and even up to $300. But in the last 2 weeks, you are seeing action where his cards are actually selling below $200 for the past 2 weeks. Looking that back out, it's interesting to see that this volume shows that we're actually hitting into territory that hasn't been seen for a while. Coincidence, just one card? Maybe. Let's look at another one. Let's look at Luka Doncic. Now, Luka, for the past 6 months, has been generally flat. I know at the beginning of this graph, his cards are selling between $500 and $600, and it really has shown a stabilization of right around $4 with a playoff spike of $500. A little bit of FOMO buying there, if you ask me. Now, again, if you focus in on the most recent 2 weeks, interesting dynamic here. Now this isn't universal, but there's been a lot of sales in recent weeks below $400. Again, a lot of action at a threshold that historically hasn't been seen at that levels, at least not for a while. Going back out 6 months, you're not seeing much action below 400 until recently. A lot going on. Now, another card that I think is very interesting that I've been following is Zion Williamson. Remember him? He's that guy that got up to 330, 340 pounds. His cards over the last year have dropped 60%. It's been a major crash. However, if you look at the last 6 months, if you shorten this graph to 6 months, it really has flattened out to right around $200 for his Prism rookie in a base 10. $200. Now, it wasn't really until recently that that card has even dropped below $200. Now, what I find extremely interesting with this Zion Williamson card is if you overlap his card with Ja Morant, there's an interesting correlation here. Ja Morant plays, Zion Williamson sits. So as a result, because Morant played, he was able to collectors were able to take advantage of his prices going up, whereas Williamson's card stayed relatively flat. Now that both are not playing, season's over for both, look what's going on in the last month. Ja Morant card prices are starting to dip below Zion Williamson once again. Folks, this is an interesting fact. Consumer sentiment is really suggesting that they're really expecting big things from Zion Williamson. So he's been out for this entire season. What they're expecting based on the small YouTube videos of him dunking the ball, doing 360 dunks, doing some great things in warm-up, that's enough for them to say, you know what? I have very much confidence in this card, in this player, which his cards will probably be going up. To me, that's what the sentiment looks like. He hasn't played a minute of basketball. Ja Morant is crushing it, defying gravity, doing all these things, yet people believe that Zion has a higher upside. And imagine what this card price is going to do when Williamson does start playing again. 35 minutes a game, 27 points, 7 rebounds, in the dynamic energy that he brings to the court. There's a possibility that Zion Williamson card will once again reemerge as a card that will deliver gains. More to be seen. Alright, so let's get past basketball. I want to look at baseball. Let's look at the Topps Chrome Update Juan Soto card. Over the last year, Juan Soto, a year ago his card was selling between $300 and $350. This card has since dropped considerably to a point where that card is selling under the $200 mark. In fact, if you once again filter in on the recent 2 weeks, there's enough action here under $200 that suggests that you can get this Juan Soto card at a bargain. Now, is this because he's not performing? Or is this a result of the market trends? I think this is performance-based. Now, Juan Soto is typically a second-half player, so if he does what he's used to doing in the second half of the season, does it mean that this card will correlate and go up in value alongside his performance? Too early to say, and I really don't know the answer to that. But if you believe if this is performance-based, this might be a good opportunity for you. Next card, Shohei Ohtani. Another card we're looking at. Remember the mania from a year ago? Prices aligned accordingly. Lately, things haven't been so good for him. I mean, he's still doing what he's doing, it just hasn't been as dynamic as before. His Topps Chrome PSA 10 rookie card in his pitching form, we're seeing action again below $200 in the recent 2 weeks. Compare that out to the most recent 6 months. This is in an environment where historically you've been seeing a lot of action above $200 and even in some cases above $250. Yes, there's been a price drop, but with Ohtani, the way he performs and the way he delivers for the Angels, is this a buying opportunity or the signs of a market crashing? It feels to me that this might be a buying opportunity, but I don't want to speak on your behalf. It all depends on what you believe. Is there more downside to this card, or is there a buying opportunity? Totally up to you to decide. So what does all this tell us about the ultra quad market? From this information, I really can't say that there's a recession happening, but there are some cards that suggest that there is a pullback as recent as the last 2 to 4 weeks. We're seeing action below thresholds that we have not seen in a long while. So maybe that's a suggestion that people are getting a little bit more conservative with their spending. But one thing I do see, if you look on the flip side, dealers are finally starting to get past their denial, and you're starting to see prices come down to reflect what the buyers are willing to pay. Interesting part about the ultra-modern card market is performance does have an impact. People have said in the past that it's overrated. I don't think it's overrated. In fact, I don't even think it's underrated. I think it's a necessary data point to understand where you think this specific card market might go, whether it's up or down. You know, you take a look at that Juan Soto, he's not performing well, but he's always been a second half player. If you believe that to be the case this year, then your expectation is his card will go up, and buying a Topps Chrome PSA 10 rookie card right now at about $170 is actually a good buy. Or you may think, no, I'm going to wait until this gets to $150 or lower before I jump in and before I make that nesty plunge and taking advantage of the price trends going forward. It's totally up to you. But at the end of the day, regardless of what's happening at the macro level, each card that's within the sports card market is going to have a different story to tell. There may be general trends that suggest it, but if you understand the risks, as I said before, if you understand the risks that go with each of these cards, it does make your appetite for buying cards more appealing. You're going to be in this. If you're still an enthusiast for sports cards, you're going to stay in this whether it's a bull or a bear market. At the end of the day, you're going to buy. The whole point of this data is to give you an opportunity of when to buy, so you're maximizing your opportunity for long-term gains. Because whether you're a collector or an investor, gains are really what the name of the game is. After all, this is, as per definition, an alternative investment. Anyhow, hope you found this valuable today. At my next video, we're going to start looking at the iconic cards, more of the cards that you can recognize on face value. I think you'll see some interesting trends there as well. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe if you're finding this information very valuable. Want to try to get this subscriber count grow. I'm a big believer in philanthropy. I want to try to do some things that'll really help some good causes, but I need your help to make that happen. So hit that like button and subscribe. In the meantime, have a good week, everyone. Stay safe, be healthy, and we'll see you at the next video. Peace out.